Hi friends, welcome back to my garden. I'm Michelle. Tonight I'm in the garden and I'm going to talk a little bit about the good, the bad, and the creepy crawly. I found recently an infestation of some caterpillars in my beautiful zinnias, and I'm afraid it's so bad at this point I'm probably going to have to pull the plants out, at least some of them. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. And the zinnias I started from seed, so pulling them out at this point is just a little more aesthetically painful than financially painful, because they are pretty and I've enjoyed the blooms. But now the caterpillar, I just found one on my David Austin rose, so we can't have any of that because the roses are a little bit more expensive than the zinnias, and I don't want them eaten up. But I will come in and treat. I did buy some rose pesticide. Well, it's an organic treatment, which I will show you. But let me show you the caterpillars, and I also want to show you some things I'm dealing with on the roses as far as black spot and what I've done about those issues. That looks a little painful as well, but the roses will recover, so hold tight and let me show you these things I've got going on. Here are the zinnias, and as you can see, the light spots on the leaves are where the caterpillars have just, eaten the plant. And there's quite a bit of, I think it's caterpillar droppings. I'm not even 100% sure, but you can see the black stuff in here. And let me see if I can find one of these bad boys. So you can see, they're, oh, here we go. They're all over everywhere. So yeah, those are my not so friendly friends. And sorry, there's a helicopter. No, an airplane above me. But that's why you have to check your plants. I was out here, I've been looking at the zinnia, but I just did not see this, and now it's out of control. It's really gotten this one plant here really bad. So I am going to have to figure out how much of the zinnia I have to pull out. The front few plants are okay. I don't think I see where the caterpillars have really bothered that yet. And these guys over here I think are okay. So we'll see how much I can salvage. But anyway, let me show you the other issue I've had going on in the garden, and that is black spot on the roses. You can see this leaf here has some over here, and this is my Bosco Bell, which is actually the least affected of all my roses to date. So I haven't removed as much foliage on this plant. There are some areas I have to come in and remove, and that is what they suggest. You have to remove the foliage that's affected with the disease, or it will just continue to spread. So let me show you my other David Austin rose that I stripped quite a bit. Here is my Lady of Shalat, and while we have a couple of negative things going on, there is one positive. This rose has taken a while to bloom for me. I've had this rose since I think April, and it had not produced any buds, but I got my first bud over here. So I'm so excited about that. But the plant, it put on quite a bit of growth, which was wonderful, but it was really quite dense in here, and it started developing black spots. So I've had to defoliate this plant quite a bit. And actually, once my bloom here emerges and is done, I think I'm going to cut back this top canopy so that it's sort of all the same. But as you can see, even though I defoliated down here, I have quite a bit of new growth already coming. There's a piece here. If I maybe go at this angle, you can see lots of little areas that the rose has already pushed new growth. And I bought a treatment, it's called Rose RX, and it's an organic treatment that's supposed to combat pests and fungus. So I should have started spraying this as soon as I saw new growth coming out, but I just ordered it yesterday, so it will be here tomorrow. So I am going to treat with that and hope that that helps. Let me show you a couple of other roses I've had to do this to. Here is my poor beautiful Iceberg, cut back quite a bit. I actually cut it back. I removed a lot of the leaves. Some of them still have some fungal issues, so I will probably come in and remove the rest that are like that, so that when it does push out new growth, it's healthier. But let me show you here at the top of this branch, which it's not going to focus. Right here, that is a new point of growth that's pushing out. And over here, see, there's a growth point coming here. So it looks quite harsh, but they will come back. So don't be afraid to defoliate your plant to remove the leaves that are diseased. I also tried to prune in the middle to open it up to allow more air to circulate, to hopefully reduce more fungal issues as it flushes back. But they will recover. Plants are a lot hardier than we give them credit for sometimes. And as you can see over here, I still have some leaves that need to be pulled off to make the plant healthier. But the other reason I cut them back is I am going to hopefully soon run irrigation back here, and it was a little bit bushy with the growth of the roses, so I cut back so that I could get my system in and where I needed it to be. But let me show you one more rose and how that's doing. This guy here developed the black spot first out of all my roses. This is my Floribunda rose, and it's a Polynesian Punch is the name of it, and it got black spot really horribly, probably left over from last year because it had it, and I didn't probably properly clean the pot out from last year to this year. But I cut back everything. I tried to open up the middle of the plant so that when it flushes back out again, it will allow for more airflow. I cleaned up all of the foliage at the bottom that had fallen into the soil, and I will be spraying this as well once I get the treatment in. But as you can see, and hopefully I'm not going to be too late, because this guy has pushed quite a bit of growth. And that was what led me to not be so scared to do it. Even though it had black spot, the top of the plant was continuing to grow and produce new foliage that was not diseased, but the bottom portion of the plant was so diseased that it was just falling off. But even though it had fallen off, the areas where leaves had fallen off and it was bare, the plant, even before I cut it back, was producing new growth. So I knew that if I cut it back, it would continue to do the same thing, and sure enough, it has. So in just a little while, this guy will be hopefully looking as pretty as he did in spring. But don't be afraid to cut back your plants, because it actually helps them. It allows them to put energy into growing new and healthy branches and leaves, rather than trying to put energy into foliage and stems that are diseased. So thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to stay with me and stay on this journey. Next time you see my zinnia patch, it may look a little bit different, but that's how gardening goes. It's ever evolving, and you just have to tackle the things as they happen, and don't let bugs discourage you. The first time I had an infestation of bugs. I think it was aphids. I was very discouraged, and I thought, you know, what kind of gardener am I? My plants have bugs. But I haven't found one gardener yet, from the most novice to the most professional, who's ever said that they never had a problem with bugs. It happens to everybody. So if the bugs are fighting you, then you must be doing something right, because it means you've got something that you're growing that they're wanting to get into. So keep gardening and keep trying and keep learning and growing. And thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.